Peter Landesman's new film, Concussion, is based on a GQ article, Game Brain, which was written by Janae Marie Laskus. Now, the film itself is about Dr. Bennett Omalu. Dr. Omalu is a Nigerian who was a accomplished pathologist working in Pittsburgh. Now, at the time, there's been in Pittsburgh, there's been an upswing in tragic, untimely deaths of some Pittsburgh Steelers football players, former football players who are in the prime of their lives, they're only in their 40s or 50s, and they died tragically in the most heinous of ways and violent ways, be it suicide or car crashes, or they're just reportedly being going through strange mood swings, and they're just doing masochistic and sadomasochistic things to themselves, and there's no explanation. But however, in this one instance where Dr. Omalu was doing the pathology report and autopsy, he discovered that an individual, while by regular brain scans and CT scans and MRIs that turn out inconclusive, that there's actually brain damage occurring due to repeated head trauma in a football game. And it's basically something that only appears after death, when someone can actually go in and examine the actual brain itself in very slim tissue samples taken from the individual's brain. And basically it's we all know that all this activity in football. I'm a football fan. Go Eagles! And repeated hits can cause serious damage to the brain. And it's just we know cigarettes cause cancer, CO2 emissions cause global warming, eating a pound of M&Ms every day for a year is going to give you diabetes. It's common sense stuff like that. But there was a period where the NFL flat out denied that was really happening. That even, yes, they admit that people do get concussions, but not to the extent that it would cause someone to go basically mad. But thanks to Omalu's studies, he proves that this is true. But it was not an easy road for him to get the truth out, because he was running into roadblocks by the NFL, because apparently the NFL knew about this but did not want to admit to the fact that their billion-dollar business was causing irreparable harm to its players. And Omalu doggedly did what he could to make sure the truth got out there. Now, this is based on a true story. Exactly how much of it is true and how much is embellished, I'm not sure. But in the movie itself, it's well acted and told, but there are some elements that just seem to try to be like a paranoid thriller that just seemed out of place in the film, and it's kind of I had wished that it didn't go that route. It really tries to paint the NFL as this real sinister, dark shadow villain who's trying to hide details, but I guess in fact that's only partially true, and that only some of that comes out in the film, at least for me, as speaking as an NFL football fan. But the performances are very strong, especially from Will Smith and Alec Baldwin and Albert Brooks, who all play fellow doctors. There are other people in this film you may not immediately recognize, like David Morse, Arliss Howard, Paul Reiser, and again Albert Brooks, who's in makeup, very, very bald. But yeah, there's a lot of, it's kind of like an all-star cast. But again, Will Smith is the star of this film, and he comes off really well as Omalu, and he gives a strong performance about this man who wants to do the right thing and try to hold up his Hippocratic oath, but is running into one obstacle after another trying to do so, thanks to the bureaucracy. But as we know in life, in the end, the truth came out, and concussion studies did go into effect, and rules were put into place to make sure that the players aren't injured as badly as they could be. But as the film unfolds, you see stories about actual players There was some players that they mentioned that I completely forgot about, that's how they passed away. I mean, even there's an Eagles connection in the film that I totally forgot about. And so basically it brings it all together. It's a solid film that basically it doesn't go over the top or anything like that, but it's a well-told film about this moment in NFL history, and the attempt to get to the bottom of the medical conditions that are haunting these players, and it's a really interesting to see just how deep the rabbit hole went and how much the NFL was willing to divulge in that situation. So, as a football fan, it was a satisfying film. It's as a non-football fan, you might find it interesting and enlightening. For me, Concussion is a 7.5 out of 10. It would have been great if it went a little bit further and stayed away from some of the stereotypical tropes of the genre, and just stuck to the facts instead of trying to manipulate a emotion out of the viewer. But again, overall, thanks to the strong performances and the intriguing storyline, Concussion is a 7.5 out of 10. So if you like my review, please hit that like button below. So have you seen Concussion? Have you heard about Concussion? Have you heard about the concussion research that was basically buried by the NFL, but eventually the truth came out? I'm curious to find out, and please comment below. And hell, even if you want to share, who's your team? I said mine are the Eagles. And I know we're out of the playoffs. You don't have to remind me. So, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, so you can stay on top of my reviews as they come in. So until next time, we'll see you on the gridiron.